Thank you very much for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Now, across the Caribbean, especially Western and Central Caribbean, we're going to be watching this spot very carefully together throughout the week. I do believe we're going to at least see some signs of development, which means increased rain. Is there anything that is definitely going to make this spot a hurricane? No, not necessarily seeing that, but there is a higher chance of some development later this week. So giving you the early heads up, we have an area to kind of monitor and watch over the next few days together, and we'll do that together. And then this spot up here has not yet become Helene. It did organize, and it is moving up toward the Carolinas as expected, but not yet a named system. Now, as far as, I'll cover that, of course, in just a moment. As far as this spot here, this area very close to Jamaica, back through Belize, down through Honduras, near the Cayman Islands, we're going to see a lot of moisture building up later this weekend. Now, this time of year, being in the latter half of September, you get these bigger fronts across the U.S. And a lot of times that allows things that develop in the Caribbean to lift to the north. So that's what I'm going to be seeing out of this. Whatever develops or even doesn't develop, even if it's just some rain around, I do believe this will kind of swing its way more up to the north near Cuba, then the Bahamas, and kind of lifting up to the north after that. So let's start with that, and then I'll get into this spot, of course, bring the heavy rain to parts of the Carolinas. But this is the general area we'll be watching, and then we'll touch upon Gordon, which is also sitting out there. So there's that spot in the Carolinas that will continue to work inland throughout the day with some flooding. Now, you can see in the short term, not much in the way of rain, kind of firing up here across the Caribbean until later in the week. This here is by Thursday into Friday. So let me stop the clock here. Friday afternoon, that's when we're going to see this rain building. You see it right through here. Here's Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua through here. We're going to see some rain. Now, will it develop? I do believe there'll be at least some signs of development. It's still a wait and see. There's not even anything there now, and this is 5 days from now. But what tries to develop should lift to the north. So what we're going to at least see by this weekend is a much higher chance of rain near Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, back through Cuba, and then eventually even potentially up toward the Bahamas, watching over toward the Florida Keys. You see this moisture here. This would be by Sunday. On Sunday, some of the models try to wrap this up into a tropical storm. That would be some rather quick development from nothing into something, but at the least, watching out for an area of rain. Now, I'll know well out in time if this will become a tropical storm or hurricane to give you a heads up, or if it'll just stay an area of rain. The American model is not showing much development. That's good news at this point. This would be by Sunday afternoon, just showing a lot of rain that would be feeding up to the north as this gets tied into a front. So yeah, it's a wait and see. It's an area to watch, and that's what we'll be doing across the Western and Central Caribbean. Now, I do want to show you one model that makes this a hurricane, and very quickly. Please note that I believe this solution is a little more likely, but I want to show you it because I know this is going to be out there across social media in kind of the hype machine jumping onto that. But you can see here, this is the Canadian model, which sometimes does a good job with tropical systems, sometimes not. It develops the area very quickly. Here's Cuba. Here's the area that's rolling into parts of North Carolina and South Carolina now. So let me take you on time through the end of the week and just show you how it is different from what we're seeing with the American model. Is there a chance that the Canadian model is right in the end? It's a wait and see, but we'll know ahead of time. But let me show you this. This is by Friday. So stop the clock on Friday. Here's Jamaica, and you can see some increased rain. What is interesting, though, is that it takes it from almost nothing. So on Friday it would just be, hey, there's a little bit of rain here, and then it makes it a tropical storm or a hurricane so very quickly, so quickly that as a meteorologist, I'm saying, hey, that's generally not probable. Can this area eventually become a hurricane? No doubt, but look how quickly it develops it. This is on Saturday. By Saturday, it already has it spinning up into a tropical storm in the Western Caribbean. Again, this is plausible, but we don't know yet. I'm not sure yet. I'll watch the environmental conditions all week, but it does differ from the American model. The American model just shows a lot of rain building up, but this here would be a tropical storm by Sunday, and then even close to a hurricane by the time we get into Sunday and Monday, in a stronger hurricane that could lift up potentially into the Gulf of Mexico. So I just wanted to give you kind of those two scenarios, if you will. This one is a little bit less likely, but it's a wait and see on both of them. But the point being is that the American model, the Canadian model, even the European model, the German model, and the environmental conditions are telling me that this is the area to watch for the potential of development. So that's all we're going to do as we go over the next couple days. The next name on the list is Helene. As I just checked, the area near the Carolinas, while it did develop further, is still not yet kind of truly tropical in nature with a solid center down at the surface. So it hasn't gotten a name yet. So it is not Helene yet. So whatever the next name on the list is, it would be Helene, then Isaac, Joyce, Kirk, Leslie, Milton, and Nadine after that. And here's what is trying to become Helene, but one thing with it, while it's sitting over the very warm water, kind of runs out of time to do so because it's going to work inland with the heavier rain in northern sections of South Carolina and generally the eastern sections of North Carolina. This will be pushing in throughout the day with some very heavy rain and some tropical storm gusts. We're going to see those gusts over 50 miles per hour at times as that rolls on shore over toward the Carolina. So may not become Helene, but still those tropical storm conditions moving onshore today as expected. Everything staying right on track with that. And then you have these fronts around. You can see here with some of the rain and still some of the active weather near Bermuda. And occasionally along these fronts, you can see further development, just like we're seeing with the system near the Carolinas now. As we get toward later in the week, look at this. Well, this is by tomorrow into Wednesday. Rain builds near the Bahamas again and then kind of feeds up toward Bermuda. So I'll monitor to see if it does anything very similar to what we just saw and see if anything tries to spin up here. Big moisture feed here. I was talking about this a week ago. This area would see a lot of moisture and the Western Caribbean would see a lot of moisture. So those would be the areas to watch. So here we are in the Caribbean, Trinidad, Barbados, St. Lucia, Dominica, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Antigua, and Barbuda. This spot here was Tropical Storm Gordon, but as I was showing you yesterday, it was weakening and it has weakened. Now it's a tropical depression, and if it does even hang together at all, it should do that kind of hook out. There's these fronts up to the north that should help kind of draw that out to sea. But in the central Atlantic, of course, the seas are higher with these storm systems up here as well. And then off the coast of the southeast U.S., we're seeing those elevated seas today with that somewhat tropical system that's rolling in. This here is by tomorrow. Bit choppy in the central Caribbean. Nothing crazy. The Gulf of Mexico waters have been very, very settled for the most part. This is Wednesday going into Thursday. See the Gulf and the Caribbean. The sea is only running about a meter or running at about 3 to 5 feet. But once we get toward the end of the week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's when it will turn choppier, if not very rough in the Western Caribbean, depending on what may or may not develop right in this sector. In the short term, been watching a few areas of rain. Some getting closer to Dominica. Had some rain splitting Cuba over toward Haiti, and a flare-up of scattered rain and storms Costa Rica and Panama. So scattered about for today. But in the Bahamas, the rain chance is going to pick up again. There's an old front around, so northern and central Bahamas, as we work our way into tomorrow, we're going to see some of the rain building. You see it back in the Gulf of Mexico for today, but then it just kind of slides in. So you see by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon, there's the steadier rain, or at least heavier areas of rain. Cuba, north through parts of South Florida, over toward the northern Bahamas. That rain chance will be picking up. Elsewhere, spotty areas of rain and storms, and we'll do that again on Wednesday. Then, of course, by Wednesday, it should have a really good handle on what may or may not develop in the Western Caribbean, and then we'll just be tracking it from there on out. Nothing going on. Ileana formed this weekend quickly and then fell apart over toward the Baja, but again, the Eastern Pacific, no signs of development, at least over the next week. But with that increased rain, Cuba through the northern Bahamas, especially tomorrow and Wednesday, we'll have some spots of 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches of rain. Not a ton. Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, Puerto Rico. It just be a passing shower or thunderstorm. It's that drier pocket. And once again, we are so very hot. If we are dry, we are hot this time of year. St. Kitts and Nevis through Montserrat. We could get a couple more showers anywhere from Dominica south, where a few spots could get upwards of 50 millimeters of rain or 2 inches of rain. Passing shower. St. Vincent the Grenadines, northeastern Venezuela, dry in Suriname. Guyana, chance of a few scattered showers and storms. Still some heavier pockets, parts of Costa Rica and Panama. Still watching that. Then in Guatemala and El Salvador. And as we swing back toward Mexico, some heavier areas of rain, Mexico City, Yucatan down through Belize, kind of hit or miss. More isolated across Belize and so very hot. So the rain chance about 30% in Jamaica for today. All eyes on the end of the week on what may try to develop nearby. Same thing for the Cayman Islands. Rain chance a bit elevated, 50 to 60% chance for us today. Trinidad and Tobago, and still unsettled. I showed you some of those areas of rain near Dominica. So Barbados, St. Lucia, some scattered and passing showers and storms possible. A 40% chance the next 2 days in Grenada. And we're running at about a 50% chance over the next few days. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Martinique, a 40 to 50% chance. And there's that elevated chance today in Dominica. There's already showers nearby. 30 to 40% chance the next 2 days in Guadeloupe. Rain chance very minimal today. Antigua and Barbuda, very small as well. St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat. So it is going to be just as hot, if not hotter, than yesterday. We're mainly dry. Anguilla and St. Bart's, very limited chance of rain. St. Martin, St. Eustachia, same thing through Puerto Rico. It would just be a pop-up shower or storm, and we do that again, U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Rain chance about 40 to 50% in the Bahamas. That's as a whole, but again, the northern Bahamas tomorrow into Wednesday, we have a higher chance of rain. Turks and Caicos mainly dry. Pop-up shower storm, the Dominican Republic, a slight 10 to 20% chance across Haiti the next few days. And we're looking at about a 40% chance of scattered showers and storms closer to the Caribbean, a little bit less inland in Belize. Aruba, 20% chance today, 20% chance today and tomorrow as well. Curacao and Bonaire, rain chance about 30% in Guyana, some isolated showers and storms. Suriname, we're in that overall drier and hot pattern. Rain chance about 50% in Cuba, picking up some tomorrow on the eastern end. Costa Rica and Panama, 40 to 50%, but we could get some areas of flooding. 40% chance the next 2 days in Nicaragua, 30 to 40% chance in Honduras. All eyes on what could try to develop later this week. 50% chance next 2 days Guatemala and El Salvador. Mexico City, a 60 to 70% chance. And as we work our way into the Yucatan, about a 30, maybe a 40% chance of a scattered shower or storm. Northern Colombia, 20 to 30% chance. Northern Venezuela, 30 to 40% chance. And about a 50 to 60% chance as we work our way back through Bermuda. So Caribbean development possible. As we go through the week, I'll be fine-tuning that. Either way, the increased rain, that is going to be building. I'll be watching just how quickly this area tries to form, and the overall trend would kind of lift whatever it is up to the north. So that's what I'll be tracking throughout the week. Thank you for being part of this weather community. Have a great rest of your day.